Chapter 9 of the Harbor. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Tom Weiss. The Harbor by Ernest Poole. Chapter 9. The next day I went to the editor for whom I was doing most of my work. When I told him I wanted to try Jim Marsh, the editor looked at me curiously. "Why?" he asked. I spoke of the impending strike. "Have you met Marsh?" he inquired. "Yes." "Do you like him?" "No." "But he struck you as big." "Yes, he did." "Are you getting interested in strikes?" "I want to see a big one close." "Why?" "Why not?" I retorted. "They're getting to be significant, aren't they? I want to see what they're like inside." The editor smiled. "You'll find them rather hot inside. Don't get overheated." "Oh, you needn't think I'll lose my head." "I hope not," he said quietly. "Go ahead with your story about Marsh. I'll be interested to see what you do." I went out of the office in no easy frame of mind. The editor's inquisitive tone had started me thinking of how J.K. had been shut out by the papers because he wrote the truth about things. "Oh, that's all rot," I told myself. "Joe's case and mine are not the same. The magazines aren't like the papers, and I'm not like Joe. His idea of the truth and mine will never be anywhere near alike." But what would Eleanore think of it? I went home and told her of my plan. To my surprise, she made no objection. "It's the best thing you can do," she said. "We're in this now, on account of Sue we can't keep out. And so long as we are, you might as well write about it, too. You think so much better when you're at work, more clearly, don't you? And that's what I want." She was looking at me steadily out of those gray-blue eyes of hers. "I want you to think yourself all out, as clearly as you possibly can, and then write just what you think," she said. "I want you to feel that I'm never afraid of anything you may ever write, so long as you're really sure it's true." I held her a moment in my arms and felt her tremble slightly. And then she said with her old quiet smile, "Sue has asked us over to Brooklyn tonight. Joe Kramer is to be there, too." "That affair is moving rather fast." "Oh, yes, quite fast," she said cheerfully. "How will Dad look at it?" "As you did," said Eleanore dryly. "He'll look at it and see nothing at all." "I've half a mind to tell him." "Don't," she said. "If you did he would only get excited, become the old-fashioned father and order Sue to leave Joe alone. Which would be all that is needed now to make Sue marry Joe in a week." "Sue is about as selfish," I said hotly, "about as wrapped up in her own little self—" "As any girl is who thinks she's in love but isn't sure," said Eleanore. "Sue isn't sure, poor thing, she's frightfully unsettled." "But why drag Joe way over there?" "Because she wants to look at him there. It's her home, you know, her whole past life, all that she has been used to. It's the place where she has breakfast. She wants to see how Joe fits in." "But they'd never live there if they married." "Nevertheless," said Eleanore, "that's one of the ways a girl makes up her mind." She looked pityingly into my eyes. "Women are beyond you, aren't they, dear?" she murmured. "J.K. isn't," I rejoined, "and I can't see him in any home." "Can't you? Then watch him a little closer the next time he comes to ours." I went out for a walk along the docks and tried to picture the coming strike. When I came home I found Joe there. He had come to go with us to Brooklyn. He was sitting on the floor with our boy, gravely intent on a toy circus. Neither one was saying a word, but as Joe carefully poised an elephant on the top of a tall red ladder, I recalled my wife's injunction. By Jove, he did fit into a home. Here certainly was a different Joe. He did not see me at the door. Later I called to him from our bedroom. "Say, Joe, don't you want to come in and wash?" He came in, and presently watching him, I noticed his glances about our room. It was most decidedly Eleanor's room, from the flowered curtains to the warm, soft rug on the floor. It was gay, it was quiet and restful, it was intimately personal. Here was her desk with a small heap of letters and photographs of our son and of me, and here close by was her dressing table strewn with all its dainty equipment. A few invitations were stuck in the mirror. Eleanor's hat and crumpled white gloves lay on our bed. I had thrown my coat beside them. There were such things in this small room as Joe had never dreamed of. "Oh, Joe," said Eleanore from the hall, "don't you want to come into the nursery? Somebody wants a pillow fight." "Sure," said Joe with a queer little start. "By the way," I heard her add outside, "Billy told me he saw Mrs. Marsh, and I should so like to meet her too. Couldn't you have us all down to your room some evening?" "If you like," he answered gruffly. "I'm honestly curious," Eleanore said, "to see what kind of a person she is, and I'm sure that Sue is too. May we bring her with us?" "Of course you may, whenever you like." "Would Friday evening be too soon?" "I'll see if I can fix it." When Eleanore came in to me, her lips were set tight as though something had hurt her. "That was pretty tough," I muttered. "Yes, wasn't it?" she said quickly. "I don't care. I'm not going to have him marrying Sue. I'm too fond of both of them. Besides, your father has to be thought of. It would simply kill him." Yes, I thought to myself that night. No doubt about that. It would kill him. How much older he looked in the strong light of the huge old-fashioned gas lamp that hung over the dining-room table. He was making a visible effort to be young and genial. He had not seen Joe in several years, and he evidently knew nothing whatever of what Joe was up to, except that he had been ill at our home. Joe spoke of what we had done for him, and Sue eagerly took up the cue, keeping the talk upon us and the Indian to my father's deep satisfaction. From this she turned to our childhood and the life in this old house. Dad pictured it all in such glowing colors I recognized almost nothing as real. But watching Sue's face as she listened, she seemed to me trying to feel again as she had felt here long ago when she had been his only chum. Every few moments she would break off to throw a quick, restless glance at Joe. When the time came for us to go, my father assured us warmly that he had not felt so young in years. He said we had so stirred him up that he must take a book and read or he wouldn't sleep a wink all night. Joe did not come away with us. As we stood all together at the door, I saw Eleanore glance into Dad's study where his heavy leather chair was waiting, and then into the room across the hall where Sue had drawn up two chairs to the fire. And I thought of the next hour or two. My father already had under his arm a book on American shipping, which told about the old despotic sea world of his day, in which there had been no strikers, but only mutineers. "There's very little time to lose," said Eleanore on the way home. "Look here," I suggested. "Why don't you talk this out with Sue and tell her just what you think of it all?" "Because," said Eleanore, "what I think and what you think has nothing whatever to do with the case. Sue would say it was none of our business. And she'd be quite right. It isn't." "Aren't we making it our business? My wife at times gets me so confused." "I'm not telling them anything," she rejoined. "I'm only trying to show them something and let the poor idiots see for themselves. If they won't see, it's hopeless." End of chapter 9. Recording by Tom Weiss.